his welcome address, the principal of the school, Taiwo Ade Nariwo, lauded the Federal Ministry of Sports in Nigeria, urging the federal government to continue developing sports in the country.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to our 8th annual inter-house sports competition with the theme Pace, Power, Precision. We appreciate you for making our time in spite of our very busy schedule to honor our invitation. Your presence here today has assured us that you are interested in the all-round development of our students. Games are an essential part of the school co-curricular activities as it provides the physical well-being of the students. This is in line with the Federal Ministry of Education and National Policy on Education, which stipulates that sporting competitions within and outside the school should be integrated into the curriculum. It is in respect of this that Christian school students have made it of its utmost importance that inter-house sports should be an annual occasion and sports in general.
In his welcome address, the principal of the school, Taiwo Ade Nariwo, lauded the Federal Ministry of Sports in Nigeria, urging the federal government to continue developing sports in the country.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to our 8th annual inter-house sports competition with the theme Pace, Power, Precision. We appreciate you for making our time in spite of our very busy schedule to honor our invitation. Your presence here today has assured us that you are interested in the all-round development of our students. Games are an essential part of the school co-curricular activities as it provides the physical well-being of the students. This is in line with the Federal Ministry of Education and National Policy on Education, which stipulates that sporting competitions within and outside the school should be integrated into the curriculum. It is in respect of this that Christian school students have made it of its utmost importance that inter-house sports should be an annual occasion and sports in general.
Sports is an integral part of total development of any students. And as you can see here, you even have some of the students from other schools here trying to develop the skills that is in them, and it's for national growth as well, because these ones you're seeing now will be part of people that will bring glory to Nigeria in some years to come. So in this year's inter-house sport, we lay emphasis on the pace, power, and precision. We want them to bring out the best in them, so that when they go out there, they begin to show those talents, and then make good things happen to Nigeria, and in the other way as well, be proud of themselves for what they've been able to achieve in their lives. We want the federal government to invest more, because organizing an inter-house sport is not something that you just speak about. It involves money, it involves equipment, it involves planning. I think the country, the federal government should also try and invest much more in this, so that at the end of the day, these young ones that are doing these honors for us today, we can be proud of them in the future.
The sports personality of the day and ex-Super Eagles player / winner of the 2013 AFCON, Emmanuel Idiegbo, also highlighted the significance of sports in child development.
I think it helps children to control their emotions, you understand, to channel their negative emotions into positive ways. You know, it also helps them to develop their skill, you understand, because this is a good test for them growing up to know what they want to become in future. And you know, when you fail several times, that's when you learn from failing. And I think it will help them, you understand. It will test their patience, you understand, and you know, they get understanding from this. You know, I think we should support the children, you understand, in all schools to have something like this, you know, every year. You know, the schools also need good facilities, you understand, where they can be able to perform. And I think that's just the message for the government.
One of the parents, Mrs. Vivian Iluegbunan, urged other parents to encourage their children to participate in sports.
Parents out there that they should all be coming out, and also encourage their children, because in the world today, there are two things that are leading that can ensure you of a position to make wealth. Sports is one of the key things, and then media. So a child who is grounded in academics and come up in sports you can be rest assured that the sky is stepping stones.
Some of the students expressed their happiness in participating in this year's inter-house sports competition.
The inter-house sports is a very competitive event between 4 houses, and I feel like this is a very good motive for a school to help students be able to increase their sporting abilities.
Our athletics, in case when you graduate, your dream job doesn't work out for you, you can use sports as a alternate motive for gaining a job.
Well, I feel like it's a very good idea for us to be doing house sports every year. It helps us like not only think about education, but also like recreational activities. That's why Christian school is like one of the best schools in Abuja, because we don't focus on one aspect alone. We focus on all the aspects. That's why to this day we are still standing grace.
Highlight of the event were march past, cultural displays, dancing, 100-meter race, among several others. From Chrisland High School, Abuja, I am Matthew Atungu, ATN News.
And now here is the details of the other reports before we go. Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, better known as Sunday Buha, has regained freedom. Federal government has warned against recruitment of Nigerians to fight in Ukraine. Abba Kyari's co-accused have pleaded guilty to drug trafficking charges. Russia has announced the opening of several humanitarian corridors in Ukraine. Thanks for joining us. I am Vivian Douglas. You can follow us on our social media handles. Facebook and YouTube is Atlantic Television Network. Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Remember that peace and unity are the pathway to progress.
Limited delightfully announces the commissioning ceremony of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and escalate the situation.
For the Nigerian government to stop killing its people and Blessing Communication Limited delightfully announces the commissioning ceremony of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM under the distinguished chairmanship of His Excellency Right Honorable Austin Opara, PhD, CON, DSSRS.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency Chief Barrister Yeson Wike, CON, GSSRS, EOS Africa, Executive Governor, Rivers State, and His Excellency Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila, Speaker, House of Reps.
Guest of honor, Dr. Mrs. Ipalibo Harry Banigo, DSSRS, Deputy Governor of Rivers State. Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase, Deputy Speaker, House of Reps.
Right Honorable Dimeji Bankole, CON, former Speaker, House of Reps. Senator George Thompson Sekibo, DSSRS, Leader, Rivers Caucus, National Assembly.
Honorable Nduti Elubelu, Minority Leader, House of Reps. Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister of Information.
Right Honorable Hamed Hambe, Esquire, National Assembly. Malam Balarabe Shehu Ilela, DG, National Broadcasting Commission.
Mr. John Uwe, Chairman, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. Dr. Seye Obi Lulu Briggs, Chairman, Manipulo Petroleum Development Limited.
Spiritual Father of the Day, Right Reverend Wisdom Budu Ihuo, JP, Lord Bishop, Niger Delta North Diocese. Royal Fathers of the Day, His Eminence Eze Uche Eliku, Esquire, Paramount Ruler of Port Harcourt. His Majesty King Walu Wardog, JP, Paramount Ruler of Apara Kingdom. His Royal Majesty Eze Levi Amos Olu Oriebe, JP, Inyeweli, Akbo.
Dates, Thursday, 10th March 2022. Time 11 a.m. prompt. Venue, Wish Complex, Wish Avenue, Radio Estate, NTA Road, Ozoba, Port Harcourt. This event will be transmitted live on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes DTH Channel 194, Wish FM 99.5 Port Harcourt, and all her social media platforms.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
Wish FM 99.5, Nigeria's business radio.
On the facts, breaking news and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts. the facts, breaking news, and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage. Facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network. Anchoring facts.
Grandpa's house. Suffer not the witches to live, of course.
You are still under probation, as far as I'm concerned in this house.
Thank you, Grandpa. Promotion.
So you want me to stay for water? Make soap enter we eye.
Do you need the right kind of family entertainment? Then join us every Sunday on Atlantic Television Network at 7:30 p.m. on Grandpa's House.
It's all you will not depart from it. Train up a child in the way.
A world without tomatoes is like a string quartet without violins. Lauren Cohen, 1994 to 1992. Fruits and vegetables are a vital part of nutrition. One of such vegetables that have proven their nutritional value over time is tomato. Tomato is a vegetable commodity which originated in Western South America and Central America. It is consumed worldwide today. The edible berry part of the plant, Solarium lycoperiscum, is what we call tomatoes, also known as love apple and wolf's peach. Tomato in common parlance is treated as a vegetable, although botanically speaking, it is actually a fruit. Tomatoes are good antioxidants. The antioxidant lycopene has been linked to many health benefits, such as purifying the blood, nourishing the skin, lowering cholesterol, and reducing migraine. More so, it boosts immunity, lowers the risk of heart diseases, stone formation, and cancer. This vegetable contains vitamin A, B, C, E, and K. Other components are potassium, folate, carbohydrates, fiber, and 95% water. Tomatoes are grown all times in the year with the help of greenhouse. However, they grow faster in temperate areas and take about 5 to 10 days to germinate. Nigeria is the largest producer of fresh tomatoes in sub-Saharan Africa and 13th in the world according to Google Reports 2021. The country produces 10.8% of fresh tomatoes in the region. Over the last decade, fresh tomatoes had grown by 25% million tons to an estimated 2.3 million tons. Tomato farming in Nigeria is done predominantly in the northern region: Kano, Jigawa, Plateau, Borno, Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, Sokoto, Kebbi, Nasarawa, Zamfara, and Kogi. These states have large plantations where the commodity is harvested. Bead sleek tomatoes are the common variety grown in the country. Its varieties are cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, Campari tomatoes, patio tomatoes, and Purendi wine tomatoes. Others are plum and Roma tomatoes, which are similar. The plum contains lesser amounts of seeds and water compared to other varieties. Tomato is a significant source of umami flavor, the basic taste in broth and cooked meals. It can be consumed in diverse ways. Cooked, put raw in salad and in drinks. If you do not want to have to deal with a lingering sour or edgy taste, go for the plum variety. It can be found in the Nigerian markets. Tomatoes grace a number of delicacies in Nigeria. It is used for chicken stew, beef stew, goat meat stew, fish stew, and just about any acceptable protein. Soups such as melon soup and okra have been served with tomato sauce. Vegetable sauce is yet another common delicacy that grows in sight and taste with moderate slices of the love apple. And of course, it can be sliced thinly for sandwiches and salads, used as appetizers or added to various pasta. Speaking of food preservation and consumption, it's commonly said that the fresher, the better, and this cannot be underestimated. But the toll on preservation issues have been ringing like a screeching bell. Refrigeration and drying remains the general and effective ways of preservation. Specifically, however, canning, oven drying or sun drying are other effective ways depending on choice of use. In Nigeria, tomatoes has not only provided investment opportunities and job creation, but it has also been a means of income to many farmers and traders alike. Consumers have also tried to home grow tomatoes, and this has saved them some monies. Foreign exchange earnings as tomatoes are exported have been handy for the development of other sectors. Tomatoes has always been a mainstay in the food industry, So vital it is that individuals, groups, and government must be involved in its yield. Perhaps seek ways of improving its already colorful yield by supporting related research and ensuring regular production and availability for the growing population.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honorables, you on the point of order. Honorables, you are a human They are not picking our calls.
No agreement with the
Good morning and welcome to Atlantic Blowout right here on Atlantic Television Network. I am Nia Bari Fakai and it's International Women's Day today. So every woman watching, every woman, at home, and all our our viewers and everyone who follow us, just know that we celebrate you today, and today's show is just dedicated to you. And allow me put this out there too. On the 10th of March this month, that's the March 2022, ATN, Atlantic Television Network, and of course Wish FM will be having its official launch right here in the city of Port Harcourt. Now, we've been on air for a while and we've been giving great contents, but it is time to officially put ourselves out there and make the statement that we are here for business. So know that Mauritius Communication will be doing this official launch right here in the Wish Complex, and there's just going to be a lot of interesting perks and things to experience on the day. We'll talk through it this entire week because that's our focus, our launch. What we have come to do in communications is to create that edge. What we have also come to do is to give you what matters when it comes to news stories and what you need to know about your society. Sports, we cover everything. We are everywhere. And it's great to have you. It's great that you followed us this far. And I'll just say brace, because we have great things lined up for you on Atlantic Television Network. All right, so on to our stories today. I have two guests joining us, and I know that Shola is going to be joining from Abuja. Agaji is in Lagos. Good morning, Agaji.
Good to be here on this very wonderful day. I salute the woman who bore me, the woman who bears for me, and the woman who bears my name. I salute the women all over the world who are accepting their roles as women and making this world a very beautiful place to live in. Thank you all for what you have been doing, women, in this world, because without you, I'm not sure there really is going to be an exciting world as the one we have right now. So thank you for all you've been doing.
Of course. So yeah, so we just have all women lined up on our guest list today, and I promise you it's going to be a very exciting time. In the studio with me first today is Beauty Mbara. She is an advocate for women, and of course she is one of those ones who have put her voice out there to speak for the society and women and their relevance in leadership. Good morning, Beauty.
Good morning, Mr. Fakai.
It's good to have you in the studio today. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
So happy International Women's Day. I get to say that to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for appreciating my gender.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot to be celebrated, and we want to give all the support that you need. Online too, our guest online, she is a very intentional woman. She is a communications expert, and of course she is one of those ones who have come out there to speak for things in the society, the ills in the society, environmental degradation. She's one of the ones on the fore for the fight against the Sooth in River State. I have Elaye Chap Jumbo. Good morning, ma. If you can hear me, ma, do unmute yourself, ma. Can you unmute yourself? All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Good
yes.
morning,
Once again, good morning, Niabari. Good to see you again. Good morning, Agaji. I guess your co-presenter.
Yes, that's
good to see you. Thank you for all that you said concerning your mother, your wife, and all of us. Thank you so much. I was blushing when you were saying that.
Wow.
And I wish every woman a happy Women's Day celebration. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right, so on to our conversations. We have first, on the first story, fears of women in the Nigerian society. And following that story, we will also have gender-based violence. No perpetrator will be spared. That's what's happening in Ebonyi State. This story we carried over from yesterday: 1 million aid to Afghanistan, Buhari, and then IGP Usman Baba under fire over new hijab dress and $1 million donation to Afghanistan. Now, this other last story is important, and it's good that women are in the studio to talk about this story because it goes to talk about morality. Drug tests in universities, MAWA 6 drug tests in universities, NDLEA's LEA's outposts on campuses. So yes, these are the stories that we are going to take. And we'll take a short break. When we come back, of course, we start conversations. Welcome to Atlantic Blowout this morning. On to the first story. All right, women are the custodians of generations to come because of their ability to birth and nurture. And they become the hinges on which the society swings. The woman is bedeviled by all sorts of challenges and uncertainties. And of course, it's not just the random women. It comes down to the Nigerian woman. Now, the home front is her primary responsibility, as she's also expected to stand out and be a professional woman. So today, looking at the Nigerian situation, the harsh reality of the present day Nigeria, rationalization, marginalization rather, violence against women, workplace politics, the idea of that male dominance in workplace, and also critical issues that matter as regards their society, the woman's place in the society. All these things are bedeviling the Nigerian woman. And so the question is, how do we expect the Nigerian woman to deal? And we've had a lot of conversations about women and the ones that speak up and the ones that don't. Our society is still evolving. I would not say that Nigeria is ready for women as women are today. But I'll come to the studio first. Beauty, if you allow me to call you Beauty by your first name. What are the things that you think that the Nigerian woman, what are the things that the Nigerian woman is struggling with? What are the challenges that the Nigerian woman is facing from your perspective as a leader, of course?
Yes. Well, here in our society, it's very, very unfortunate that the feminine gender is being marginalized in different aspects of life here in our own society.
Right.
When it comes to the political terrain, we are being marginalized. In the family, we are being sidelined. In leadership, in different angles. And growing up as a child, or as a girl child, we face through lots of challenges. Is it violence? Is it molestation? You understand me? Even in the family, you find out that growing up, you're not freely allowed to mingle with the masculine gender. They always make you feel like, you're a woman, you should be hidden. People shouldn't see you. People shouldn't see your talent and all of that. A whole lot of things happen to us here in our society as women. And it has not really been good. Yeah, it hasn't. And like when you were giving the highlights, you talked about the patriarchy thing. That also has played another key role to what is affecting women today. Because most persons see patriarchy as, when a woman, most persons to their own understanding, they feel when a woman shows her talent, or when a woman showcases herself in her own, or let me put it this way, when a woman starts showing her skills in a positive direction, they feel you're trying to dominate them, especially the men. And they are one of the reasons why we are having these challenges today. Yeah. So here in our society, we face a whole lot of challenges as a woman, especially growing up as a teenager. Even when you get, the older you get, the more the challenges become.
Okay. Okay. So I'll go online. Madam Eli Jumbo, you are a professional. And of course, I would say speak to, first of all, the challenges of the Nigerian woman, and also give us a professional context as to work and life balance.
Well, as a woman, as an African woman, as a Nigerian woman, it hasn't been easy, but somehow the female gender is blessed with multitasking.
Okay.
The woman has the ability to do so many things at the same time. Sometimes I don't know how, but I think it's an innate gift that God has embedded the woman with. So she has the ability to be a professional, a very good one at her job. She has the ability to keep a home. She has the ability, and when I say a professional, a good one too. She has the ability to keep a home very well. She has the ability to bear children and train them very well. She has the ability to do a lot of things at the same time. Niabari, I'm sure your wife can be ironing her clothes. If she has a washing machine, the clothes are in the washing machine, she's washing them. Even if she doesn't have a washing machine, she's washing the clothes. After a while, she leaves that one, goes to iron. Maybe there is something on the gas she has to attend to. Niabari, I want to believe you understand what I'm saying when I say the woman is gifted with more, tasking, which most men do not have the ability to do. A man, if he is ironing, forgets any other thing. He faces that thing he's doing. If he is, whatever he is doing, don't disturb him. He will just do that, and that is it. So the Nigerian woman, even though we have not been given all the opportunities we ought to be given, but the Nigerian woman is multi-talented, multitasking, has the ability to do everything she's doing, and she does them well, despite, the challenges that we face. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma, for that. I'll let Agaji come into this conversation a little bit, because I'll still come back on to it. Agaji, over to you.
Okay, let's say that whenever people talk about luck, they say luck is an opportunity that has met with preparation. And sometimes when we're talking about marginalization and so many things that the women are suffering, I tend to ask myself, and I'm asking our guests this morning, when we're talking about women being given opportunities and all that, would you rate the the rate of preparation of women to accept these opportunities and these responsibilities that the society seems to be keeping them away from? Do you think they are prepared enough to take up these responsibilities that they are clamoring to get or take away from the men, or at least measure up to the men the way the men are doing it right now? Do you think the women are prepared enough to take more responsibilities to show the equity or the gender equality that we've been singing about all this time?
Okay, is that question to me?
Yes, let me begin with you, please.
Okay. You know, like I said earlier, the woman has the ability. She has been nurtured from the cradle. She has been nurtured from the cradle to take up responsibilities. She has been nurtured from the cradle to take up assignments. And that is why it's like, oh, people say what a man can do, a woman can do it better. Give a woman an opportunity, and that cliche is true. If a woman gets into doing something, you can go and sleep. You will get the results of whatever it is, or whatever assignment it is that has been handed over to her. Why? Because from cradle, the girl child has been nurtured, has been trained to know how to handle the society, handle her husband, handle her children, handle situations and circumstances that she faces. Maybe because the African society, I would say the Nigerian society, already has prepared the woman for the challenges she will face. So women are prepared. They have been prepared from childhood to take up responsibilities. And that is why sometimes when you see a woman do some things, you see they do it with excellence. They do it and you begin to wonder, how come is a woman doing this? Don't be surprised, because she has been nurtured to do it. She has been trained to do it from the cradle. She has been taught that, look, this world is a man's world. So already, innately, the woman is prepared to handle whatever challenges or whatever opportunities that come her way. She's prepared to handle it. Now, when she begins to handle that opportunities, or when she begins to handle that role, you don't know the amount of challenges that she faces. Maybe the woman has walked her way. For me, I'm a journalist. I have walked my way. I want to say I have paid the price. I have paid my dues as a journalist. Now I get to a position in life, in my career, and somebody comes to say, oh, she got it because she had an affair with her boss. Excuse me? These are the challenges we face. And sincerely, that is why most of us who want to protect our name, who want to protect our integrity, we shy away from some responsibilities. I remember in 1999 or thereabout, 1999, 2000, I got an appointment to work with a commissioner here in Rivers State. Of course, I don't want to call his name. The appointment came from Government House. Honestly, I was scared. And I'm like, I had to go and ask questions about the commissioner. I asked questions, I asked people. I said, please, who is this man? What kind of a person is he? Because sincerely, already I had it at the back of my mind that if I start working with him, people will think, and that is the truth. People will think, oh, why should she be the one that will work with him? Why should the letter come from government house for her? I am telling you my own experience. Those things crossed my mind. And I asked people, what kind of a man is this? I went behind, I said, who is he? They said, that one. Any woman will work with her. I use her view. And I just knocked off. I had to go back to my GM. And I told my GM, ma, please write back to government house. Tell them you cannot release me. I'm telling you my own experience. Probably the man, that is the mindset people who work with him have. And already, I said, no, I don't need to work with somebody like this because people will misunderstand my work with him. Because as a press secretary, of course, I will work late into the night with him. I may be asked to travel with him. There are a lot of things I am supposed to do with him as a press secretary. But because of the fear of what people will say, I am not telling you what happened to somebody, I'm telling you what happened to me. Because of the fear of what I think people will say, I told my office, please reject this. Tell them you can't release me. And that was how I lost that appointment. These are the challenges.
This opens another chapter of our discourse about women empowerment, women having opportunities and all that. In the case that you have just highlighted, the opportunity came. It was given to a woman who was competent enough, but the confidence to do that job because of what the society might say became an issue. It was not because the job was not there. So it wasn't a case of discrimination. So what can the society do? Because what you experience, even at that height, at that status that you found yourself, you should be more confident than you were at that time, but you were afraid of what the society could talk about. So which means there are a lot of women who might have the opportunity, but they don't want to go into it because of what the society might say. So what can this society that some women may be so afraid of, that is making them not to take up the responsibilities that they are given, what can the society do to build more confidence in the women? Because the issue you have raised now is an issue of confidence, whether self-confidence or imposed confidence or anyhow we want to put it, but there's that need for the women themselves to know that yes, they're good enough, they're strong enough, and no matter what the people might say, they will go ahead and do what they do and get the results that they need to get. So what can we do to build this confidence in both our girl child and the women who have already reached the stage where they can contribute more than they are contributing right now to society?
Honestly, I would say then I was younger, and yes, I wouldn't say I wasn't confident. I was very confident, but like I said earlier, I made a background check on this person, and from what I gathered, I'm like, no. Because what I was to do, we would work late. We could travel. We would work late. And because this is the picture of this person that people around him had, I decided to say no, stay away. It might just be going to fish in murky waters. You know, it's like going to, there is this adage, you're going to fish in the water where a crocodile, you know, is having a party. You know, so I decided to say no. The appointment would always come, but I have to be careful. Now, the fact is that the training should not be for the woman Like I said earlier, the girl child, we have had a lot of training. We have had enough training. Now, where does will I say oppression or suppression, where does that come from? Or will I say lack of confidence, where does that come from? I would say it comes from the male child. There is this ego. I have 4 boys. At a point, I used to have a girl, a sister-in-law that lived with me. When my boys were growing up, you tell them, go to the kitchen. They say, no, I can't go to the kitchen. Auntie is in the kitchen. Auntie is in the kitchen, so why should I go to the kitchen? You know, when I saw the way they were coming up, I made up my mind not to have a house help. And for over 20 years thereabouts, I don't have a house help. So everything I do at home, I do it with my boys. If we have to cook, you must go to the market. If possible, if I am not readily available, you do the cooking, you do the washing, you do the dishwashing, everything, you do it. So I have always advocated that the girl child, she has had enough training from the cradle. I think we should now begin to focus on our male children. We should begin to make them know and realize that, I don't know if you will permit me, maybe I should not read it, but in Genesis, if we go to Genesis 1:26, please permit me. He said, then God said, let us make humans in our image. If you go down, it did not say God created the male and the female. He said, let us make humans in our image. Even if he said, let us make man, if you go down, it kept saying them, 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 them. So who are the them? The them there is you as a man and me as a woman fused in one. But I don't know where we got this mentality from, that, oh, man is... Yes, no, but I don't think any woman would want to begin to say, begin to rub shoulders with a man. You have your place in the society. I have my place in the society. All we need to do is to have an understanding of my role, and you have an understanding of your role, and we come together as one force. And there will be no need for this bickering of, oh, they are stopping me, oh, they are not stopping me. Or when a woman gets to a position in life, they begin to assume she must have slept her way through. She must have done something to her boss to get to that point. Of course, as a woman, I have had my fair share. But it depends on you as a woman. I have always had a boundary. The ones I know, just like the one I told you earlier, that might give me problem, I avoid it. But the one I know that I can face, I go ahead and I maintain my integrity. I relate with my male colleagues cordially, and there is a boundary. If I don't place a boundary in my relationship with my male colleague, then he will have the guts to tell me what he wants to tell me. But if any of them have the guts to say what they want to say, at the end of the day, because I maintain my stand, I maintain my integrity, we end up becoming friends. As I speak with you, I have a lot of male friends, a lot. In fact, I relate more with men than with women. Most of them, maybe they had tried and they had seen that, no, this woman is a no-go area, and now we are friends. They treat me like sisters. I treat them like brothers.
Okay. Let me go to the guests in the studio. Nyabari, I want to go to the guests in the studio. As an advocate as well, as someone there at the fore when we're talking about women activism and all that. Let me ask the same question. Do you think the women are doing enough to get what they should get, or it's just because sometimes people just say the women are just crying foul. The opportunities are there and they're not grabbing them. Either they're not grabbing them or they're not prepared enough to grab them. And the women say no. So have the women done enough to get what they're supposed to get and it is not coming to them? And if that is the case, what needs to change?
Please, can you take the question again?
Have the women done enough to get what they say they need to get? And if they've done that and they're still not getting it, what needs to change for the playing field to be level enough for everybody?
Okay, like you talked about prior to what my co-guest said, you talked about there was an opportunity and the reason why she didn't feature in that aspect was because of you talked about what the society would say and the lack of confidence and all of that. Now, if you look at it in that angle too, sometimes if you want to do something in life, if you want to really strive to go far, don't look at what people will say, because sometimes people would always tend to discourage you. Sometimes some feel you may achieve in that angle, but they would always want to discourage you. So any woman who wants to actually take up an action or who wants to actually make impact in the society, I think you should give deaf ears to what the society has to say. And to the society itself, I think some of us here, some of us need, like some of the girl child will need sensitization, mentorship. Some of them need to be mentored, because some could actually have the all it takes, but they don't have the confidence to speak it out or to do it. Some actually may also have the confidence, but they'll now fall back to that angle of what the society will say. So as a girl child, we have always known that the society has not been in our favor, and we have been pushing and striving. So we shouldn't allow what people would say to bring us back or to discourage us. Now, to the society, I believe they should always give positive impression to people. You don't see someone who is trying to go further in life and you try to discourage the person, because some persons actually listen to what the society has to say. There are some persons that once the society disagrees with what they're about to do, you find out that they become so discouraged. So the society should always play a positive role to women, to the girl child. They should encourage us in a positive angle.
Well, but if the opportunities are there and all there is between you and grabbing that opportunity is the fear of what might be, the fear of what the society might be, do you think that is a feat that we can achieve soon enough, or achieve in the shortest possible time to...
Okay, a little bit of technical glitch right there, but I know that Shola is set to join us from Abuja. Good morning, Shola. I know you've been itching to jump on this conversation.
Good morning, Niabari. It's a good topic this morning to celebrate with our women all over the world. And I can hear from the beautiful gladiators that you are having on this program today. Comrade Jumbo, I will call you Comrade, and Beauty Umpara, you are welcome to this program this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Shola.
Well, we on our part here, it's better we take it a little bit far away from social, cultural, religious sentiment and approach, because if we look more deeply in that, we might not win this war, because I will call it war, because gender equality is becoming a global campaign, and that is why this year 2022 International Women's Day celebration theme is actually on gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. Let me go to Madam Jumbo. If you are saying that gender equality today for sustainable tomorrow, what are we looking at in the real sense of this theme?
gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, this is something that has been on ever since I was a girl child. And I will not stop saying that there cannot be any form of gender equality until we begin to value, or we begin to train our boy child the way we train our girl child. So there cannot be any form of gender equality. And you begin to ask, who are the people perpetrating this so-called inequality? Who are the people? Who are the people, I would say, we are, the girl child is up against? I would say up against the male. Because we see the world, they tell you, is a man's world. So until, as a society, we go back to the basics, to begin to make the boy child, right from the cradle, see that you and your sister, you are the same. It's just that you are physically not the same, and you don't have the same physique. But in terms of your mind, in terms of your abilities, in terms of your intellect, you are the same. There is no difference between the male child and the female child.
Madam, let me, because of our time, let me just come in here, because I will still need to have the Madam Beauty some question too. In other clan, in some other country, women are winning this war perfectly. We can continue to refer to many nations. Let's come to Africa. We have a woman president in Liberia.
Yes.
Why do you think in this country women actually need men to win this war, when we have so many international charters that up to today Nigerian government refused to domesticate it, and the women are not fighting for that? The women will have started from that place to allow the government to domesticate all this law. Maybe we will not be finding ourselves where we are today. Don't you think women are wrongly channeling their cause?
No, it is because of the way the Nigerian girl child was brought up. We were brought up to see our men as superior. We were brought up to see our men, to see the man that, oh no, this is what, until the man says yes. You don't have to say yes. My generation has suffered it. So I want to believe the generation of my children and my children's children should not suffer it. We may not be able to achieve it. Why? Because somewhere deep, it's a minute few of us that may want to come up and say no to these things.
But Nigerians are signatory to all this charter. Nigerians are signatory to all this charter. I think Nigerian women should cry out to the United Nations not to allow Nigeria to be part of signatory, part to all this charter in the nearest future. If they know they are not going to domesticate this law, why sign it?
No, there is no way the woman will come up to say stop Nigeria from signing, because it's like we have now given up to fate. You can imagine when they are part of it, they are not domesticating it. now talk of when you now tell the United Nations don't allow Nigeria to sign it. So it's like, oh wow, thank you for giving us the opportunity. That is what we've been looking for. We won't even sign it. So, but what I'm saying is that my generation may have suffered it, but I want to believe the future generation will not suffer it. And this can only happen when we begin to take cognizance of the role of the male child in the society, much more than that of the female child. We give in every family, we give attention to the woman. Every attention is drawn to the woman because they feel the boy already knows what to do. The boy already knows that he's a man. The boy already knows that he is better than the girl child. The man already knows that he is better than his wife. No, but if we begin to train our boy child from the cradle, for them to know that look, you and your sister, you are the same. You are just physically not the same. That is the point.
Thank you, madam. Because let me go to Port Harcourt and have one question for Madam Beauty in the studio. It is everywhere now that we are seeing the symbol break the bias. That is the campaign, and the symbol is like this across the world now. They break the bias. Madam Beauty, what are the bias that are before the women that they are trying to break, and how are they going to achieve it?
Good morning, Mr. Shola.
Good morning, madam.
Like to this year's campaign, break the bias. Yeah, there are so many biases there affecting the feminine gender, and like the gender inequality is one of them. And how can we break these biases that is affecting us? Like what my co-guest said, those who are making the laws, they are the men. Like some weeks ago or some days back, campaigns have been going on how to the National Assembly and all that, to increase the number of seats for the females in the House and all of that. Now, if you watch, they have not agreed to grant that. I'm trying to use that as an example to you. Now, by the time that request is being granted, if you find out that we will no longer be campaigning on that, which means they've granted that request, how do we break the bias? Let them see us as the same, that what they can do, we can also do it. That there is no limitations stopping the feminine gender. They should stop seeing us, they should stop limiting us from the family angle, in the social angle, in the political angle, in leadership, in all angles. They should stop limiting the feminine gender, or they should stop limiting us. The bias
over time, how do you see feminism? How do you see feminism as a woman? Do you ever, at any point in time, support feminism?
Well, yes, I have supported feminism over the time. Not being a feminist, not being a feminist in the angle of challenging the men, or being a feminist in order to fight the men. No, being a feminist in order to speak for the women, to make the men understand that as a female or as a woman, or being as a woman, that there are certain that we also have the same rights that they have. That we should also be carried along.
All your approaches have not been working over the year. Don't you think we need revolution? We need to revolutionize the system to allow
it hasn't been working. It hasn't been working because the men don't want it to work.
I said, don't you think women need revolution? Don't forget there was Abba Women Riot at a point in this country, and it yielded positive results.
Mr. Shola,
are you saying we don't need revolution?
Mr. Shola, some weeks ago, there was, I think, was it a protest some weeks ago at the National Assembly? Some group of women had a protest there. And
why not replicate the same protest in Port Harcourt?
In Port Harcourt. Well, Mr. Shalawa, maybe with time we'll do that with time, because I have seen it that we are being limited, and this year, according to this year's theme, let the bias be broken. Let us be seen. Let the men carry us along. We have all it takes. We have all. Is it the academic along? Is it the certificate?
Do you think you need men to break the bias?
Yes, we also need them. Yes, I will not say we don't need them.
Maybe that's why you are not winning the war.
Yes, because they have also been. They are the ones not carrying us along. They are the ones making us not to win the war. Because this protest,
Madam Jumbo, are you in support of that approach?
Like I have always said, sincerely, I am not one of that woman that will say, oh, give the woman opportunity and all of that. The opportunities are there. Just like I said earlier, you know, I had an opportunity to work with a commissioner in my state, but because I see what people say about women who have made it. Oh, she slept with that person. Oh, but it may not, of course, it may not have been true. So that sank into me, and I said, no, let me just respect myself and stay away from this kind of person. But like I said, I was much younger. The bias, when we like I said, I'll keep saying it, we must change the strategy. The strategy has always been the girl child, the girl child, the girl child. By the time we begin to give attention to our male children, because the male child is believed to know everything, nobody takes time to nurture the boy child the way they nurture the girl child. I blame we women, and that is why, maybe that is why God gave me all boys. All my boys, yes. All my boys, even the last one, he may not be able to go shopping, but I make him cook. I make him do house chores. My boys are handy in every form of domestic chores. They are very, very handy. I don't have problems with my boy children.
Okay, Madam Jumbo, I want us to touch this area a little. You know, this climate change that is going around the world is affecting the women more. It's taking a lot from them. If care is not taken, if they don't break this bias and cross over and have a better space to operate, they can be rendered redundant as far as this climate change is concerned. It's affecting the common businesses that has been earmarked for them. Like women in agriculture, they are finding it difficult to even farm. Many women in businesses hardly find their feet because of this climate change. And all the laws, the culture, the tradition, everything is still working for the men. And you think if women don't come out and revolutionize this fight, how do you think this idea of sustainable tomorrow can be actualized?
If we have been cultured to think that the men are our problem. We have been cultured to think that without them we cannot make progress. And that is why I don't know. I don't want to be pessimistic. Like this morning, I'm supposed to be having a road walk. Journalist in River State was supposed to have a road walk from our press center to the House of Assembly and to Government House. to talk on this recent issue. So but I'm not being pessimistic, but we may not achieve it. I really don't see my generation of women achieving this change in the bias that we have now. We are talking about the future. We are not talking about the present. We are talking about the future. So that is why I will keep saying, mothers, it is in our hands. Whatever our male children are, it is all in our hands. We can make our male children who we want them to be. If we want them to be kind-hearted towards their female counterpart, we can make that happen. I know what I tell my own children concerning the female gender, and I know that.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Because let me sign you up from Abuja. I hope you will join the planned struggle that is being arranged. That will be a month sit-at-home for women to further pushing their to drive their points home properly. Maybe Nigerian men will listen this time around. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, Shola, talk about sit at home. I don't even want to follow you up on that, Shola, but on to our next story. Still on women, gender-based violence. No perpetrator should be spared. And this comes from a story, a conversation that happened in Ebonyi State. And the idea that women are weaker vessels, and I thought some men would rather exert themselves on these women, is really troubling. And the concern has grown over time, and the question has always been, who will protect women from gender-based violence? And the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development in Ebonyi has reassured that no perpetrator of violence, or violator rather, of gender-based violence will be spared. According to the Commissioner of Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Chinwe Oka, who gave the assurance in Abakaliki, she said, she said the ministry signed a memorandum of understanding with law enforcement agency, a strong GBV task force, mobile court, to ensure quick access to justice and perpetrators convicted. She said that massive awareness and sensitization against GBV by the task force and violence against persons prohibition law had given more confidence to survivors to report their cases. And then she goes on to say more cases are being reported and the act is reducing. About 11 perpetrators have been convicted out of 695 persons that needed access to justice in the state. Our major challenge is access to justice and safe space, and the space is a structure required in the provision to complete the GBV services. And so it's out there, it's already getting into it's Ebonyi State is going ahead, to stand. But then I don't think we have to get to that point in a society where a lot of women can come out and say, this is what has happened to me, I've done this one, I've done this, I've received such battering or this. I don't think we need to get to that point before we speak up for the women. A lot of them cannot speak for themselves. A lot of them do not even survive this violence. So as it is, of course, we would like to hear from the women that are with us today what they think should really be done to gender-based violence, to help curb gender-based violence. Coming to you, Beauty.
Mr. Fakai, I think when it has to do with violence is not something that should be covered. Violence is not something that we should, no matter who is involved. In our society today, you find out that lots of young girls are being raped. Lots of young girls are they are into marriages that are filled with violence. They are into lots of unnecessary harassment and all of that. Assault, battery and all of that. whoever, the way I will put it is that whoever is involved in any atom of violence should be brought before the court of law. Yeah, on a normal sense, why would a man be violent on a woman? I know sometimes too, it comes from the feminine angle too to the masculine angle. Why should a woman be violent to a man? In as much as I don't support women, violence on women or violence on the girl child, I don't violence on the boy child. Because fine, we've not been hearing most of them speaking out that they are being violated, like we've not been hearing the masculine gender speaking out that they are being violated and all that. But it has been happening in our society. You see the older women violating the younger ones, the younger male child. So to the women, for those who find it comfortable in beating their wives, in beating their girlfriends, in raping women, because you find out that there are some men, older men, they like raping girls of younger age. A girl of 15 years old, 18, 20. You find out a man of 60 will rape such a girl. Their girlfriend. Such men should be brought before the law. They should face the law.
Okay. All right, so I'll go to Madam Elijah on the same subject. What do you have to say to this?
I have followed a lot of stories here in Port Harcourt, and I want to commend our security agencies. I want to commend our lawyers, especially the female lawyers. A lot of men have been prosecuted. A lot of men today in Rivers State are in prison because of one violation against a girl or a woman. But be that as it may, like I would always say, the male child is trained to be a man. Don't talk. And what makes us think that male children are not being violated? That's why I say that the attention has been so much on the woman. The attention has been so much on the girl child, and it now makes her think she's vulnerable to a lot of things. But our male children are also vulnerable. Our male children suffer some of the things these female children go through. But because they are trained to keep quiet, they are trained not to cry, they are trained not to complain, they are trained you are a man. So we don't get to hear these things happening or said to be happening to our male children, but it is happening. Our male children are being raped, even by women. So there should be a balance. There should be a balance. Let's not just make it girl, 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 girl. And that is why it seemed not to end. But when we balance it, if you celebrate the girl child, also celebrate the boy child. The boy child will not come and tell you he feels neglected. He will not tell you because he believes, I am a man, I should not show emotions. Do you know that somebody told me that, look, you see the reason why most men are not really, some men are not really interested in their male children is because they think or they believe that the male child would always be a mommy's child, will always be a mommy's boy. So men prefer to give attention to their daughters. You don't know what that does to the psyche, to the emotions of a man. And at the end of the day, he wants to show his ego. He wants to show that I may not have gotten love from or attention from my parents. So the girl now becomes the victim of what that boy did not receive at home. If you ask me, I will keep saying it. The attention on the girl child is quite overbearing. Let us begin to give attention, physical attention, emotional attention, psychological attention to our male children. Until we begin to give attention, special attention to our male children, the perpetration of evil against women, we have not seen the end yet, and we will not see the end until attention, emotional attention, psychological attention is given to the male child. Because we all believe it is the men that are perpetrating this evil against the woman. That is what we all believe. And we begin to ask, why is the man a beast? Is he a beast? Does he have the heart of a beast? Why should he be the one that will be perpetrating evil against his own daughter, against his wife, against his sister, or against any other person? He is not a beast. We mothers, we parents, we have turned our children our boy children into hard-hearted people because we make them believe they are strong. So they have no need for psychological attention. They have no need for emotional attention. I'll keep saying it. The girl child has received enough attention. And yet she is the one that is still being molested. She is the one that is still being degraded on every angle. Who do we say are the ones degrading them? It is the male child. It is the men. So is it not high time we begin to give attention to men? Is it not high time we begin to give attention to International Day of the Man? It is high time. The men need attention. They need psychological attention. They need emotional attention. Let us stop all this attitude of, oh, you are a man, you should not cry. You are a man, be a man, stand like a man. Don't do this, don't do that. It makes the man a beast. It turns him into a beast. Why? Because he will not cry. He will not express his emotions. He bottles it up. So when he sees somebody he can oppress, he does not waste time venting out those bottled up psychological and emotional neglect that he has received from his parents. We think when we shove them aside as young boys, the boy, you can go and ride your bicycle, you can go and play, you can go and do this, you can go and do that. You girl child, come and sit at home, come and we pet you, you must not do this, you must not, you don't. The boy child needs attention. It is high time we mothers begin to give attention to our boy children and take away this attitude of you are a man, don't cry. Yes, he will bottle it up. And when he sees anybody he can vent that anger on, he does not spare that person. And in most cases, who is that person? It is the girl.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. And Agaji, over to you. Quick on this one.
Yeah, interesting points Mrs. Jumbo is raising here, and I think I see her points. So at this point, shouldn't we just say that using the word gender-based violence is on its own discriminatory? Because violence is violence, whether it is against the woman or is against the man, against the girl or against the boy. So if both genders are supposed to be protected, so what's the point about talking about gender violence? Because on the average, when you hear gender-based violence, people think about the woman. At some point in Lagos State, about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the number of people who came out to say that they have been violated and there have been so many things against them, there were about 30% of the general complaints of this violence, and there were men. Men were up to about 30 or 40% coming out to say, okay, in my home I cannot have rest because my wife has been beating me, has been doing all sorts of things to me, which means sometimes the men will also come out to talk. But most of the time, like I said earlier, men are born proud and they will not want to say it. And like Mrs. Jumbo has said, when these emotions are bottled inside, they tend to now find a vent in very unlikely places. So shouldn't we just start advocating that we should remove that gender-based kind of a word inside the violence that we've been talking about, and just say violence is bad? Because there are laws covering violence. If you are violent with your friend, with your wife, with your husband, with everybody, violence is violence. Isn't that term discriminatory on its own? Can't we just do away with it, Mrs. Jumbo? Don't you think so?
No. When you say gender-based violence, you see what I've been saying. Once you say gender, everybody's mind goes to the girl.
It's woman, yeah.
When you say gender, everybody thinks of the girl, but that is not what it is. What it is the gender-based violence, that can be the male gender or the female gender. That is what it means. It means the man can suffer violence, the woman can suffer violence. So let's, we have all been indoctrinated. Immediately we hear gender, everybody thinks the girl, because that is what we have been trained from the cradle. And we keep saying it. Men should be. So when we say gender, it is both male and female. But unfortunately, we have all been indoctrinated that when you hear gender, the first thing that comes to your mind is the girl. Is the man not a gender? It's a gender. So what it means is that both male and the female gender, nobody has the right to perpetrate any form of violence against any of the gender. We are not talking about whether it is only male or it is only female. It is applicable to both genders.
Yeah, let me just, Beauty, let me come to Beauty. While advocating, while talking for the women, have you done enough in women groups and other societies? Do you think you have done enough to let the women know the kind of role they play that attracts this violence to them? Now, why I'm saying this is that when we talk violence, a lot of people talk about the physical violence, but sometimes the verbal violence is worse than the physical one, because one word that will come from a woman can last maybe a lifetime in the person that it was spoken to, and nobody considers that. So has anything been done to also make the women know that some of the times they also do the things that attract the kind of things that are unwanted to them? Or are you of the school of thought that feels that women don't do anything that will warrant the kind of abuse that they get? I'm not saying I'm supporting an abuse of any sort for whatever provocation, but has anything been done to that regard so that they also will know that to keep the society sane and violence free, they have a role to play?
Well, in as much as I know that there is no excuse to violence, in the same vein too, it is not also advisable for women to, yes, to answer your question, first of all, yes, I have done a lot. I have spoken to so many women, because sometimes too, the way we talk as women, there are certain words you use on someone, the person goes to the grave with it till the person dies. The person will never forget such words you've used on that person. If that person is being broken with the words you've used on the person, in as much as there is no excuse to violence, women should also mind the kind of words they speak to their gender, to the masculine gender, because you may not batter a man, you may not be violent physically, but with your words, you've broken that person. With your words, the person is totally down already. So, Mr. Akaji, I think to answer your question, I have done well. I have done a lot in speaking to women, sensitizing them on the use of their words, the way they speak, the way they talk, because some women don't know how to talk at all. But that shouldn't be an excuse to violence. That shouldn't be an excuse to rape.
Okay, in your experience, you must have, since you have done this kind of work, what has been like your greatest challenge in achieving this kind of sensitization? Because you've been talking to the women and maybe you still find problems here and there to get to them so much so that they will understand what you're doing. So what is the greatest challenge, or what are the greatest challenges, and how can the general society and possibly the media as well help to make sure that this reaches where it should reach? How do we talk to them? Because only a woman knows how to talk to a woman, possibly.
Yeah, one of the challenges I have understood or I have noticed is that most women are hot-tempered. Yeah. Some women are very, you won't even know that they are so hot-tempered that you don't even, before a man would, they've everywhere. They've scattered everywhere. But I think what the society would do, and the media, I think FIDA too needs to also help, because in this case now, so that the violent thing won't continue and all of that. I think more sensitizations should be carried out on women, on temper, the way they control their temper management. Because sometimes the way a woman out of anger could utter things that she's not supposed to utter. Yeah, to a man, and before you know, the man picks offense, and either violence or one thing or the other comes up along the line. So I think the media and other NGOs and all of that should sensitize the women, especially those that are in relationships, those that are married. Sensitization should be carried out on them, on anger management, because the whole of all these things you're talking about all boils down to anger, to temper. Most women, they are too temperamental. Anger has played a key role in violence. Anger.
Those words. Oh, okay. Yeah, Barry, back to you there in Port Harcourt.
All right, Shola, over to you. I believe you have one or two to throw on this one.
Yeah, I want to differ a little from the angle Madam Jumbo is addressing the issue of gender-based violence. If you look at Istanbul Convention, the Act on Gender-Based Violence, it actually emphasized more on the resulting in physical, sexual, psychological, or emotional harm or suffering to women. To women, that is exactly what the gender-based violence was actually looked into at Istanbul during the Istanbul Convention. And this was actually what was domesticated into Africa to check the gender-based violence. It is actually all about women, because the futures of women physically is something that can attract violence. There's nothing in men to look at in real sense of it. There's nothing that can attract anybody or men. Let us look at it. But as a growing up child, you start attracting a lot of people as a growing up child, especially when the necessary features are coming out. Men can be tempted, and that is why we need to protect them. That is why we have all this law out there. But the question will actually come from your angle. You know, you have men in your house. So we definitely have some houses that will have just girls. And there are some things in that house that will need attention. And the parents will ask the children to go out there and call Uncle Solomon or call Uncle Joseph to attend to it, to eat for them. Instead of the woman to use that opportunity to let them build their capacity, They don't do that oftentimes, and you are still putting the blame on men. Don't you think the parents must expand the capacity of the girl child?
Okay, that's a question for me.
Yes, madam.
Yes. If you check, that's exactly what I've been saying.
No, you are putting the whole blame on men.
No, have I? What I've been saying is that we put too much attention on the girl child, neglecting the boy child. Just like you said now, maybe in a home where we have a lot of girls or all girls, instead of making the girl child to handle some things. See, as a woman, there are some things I can do. I can paint. I can do carpentry work. There are sometimes I even go into doing some electrical things. Yes, I do them. You understand? So I have not, if you listen very well, I have not put the blame on the man child at all. All I have been saying is that the man child needs attention. The boy child needs the same equal attention that the girl child has been receiving. And that is why I said, do we have anything like an International Day of the boy child? It is high time we begin to take all of this into consideration. The boy child is made to believe he is a superhero. He is made to believe he is the all and all. He is made to believe he should not cry. So the boy child always looks for a way to vent that anger. And the girl child is made to believe you are the talkative. Just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And if you see the boy child talking, they say, shut up your mouth. Are you a girl? Seriously? As much as the girl child should talk, that is how much the boy child should talk. I am not in any way, I have all male children. I am an advocate for the physical, psychological, emotional training of the child, of the boy child. Emotional attention. We have given so much attention to the female child. It is
But you know, by nature, women, girl child are prone to violence than the male child.
Have you seen what you're saying now? Why should the girl child be prone to violence if the male child is made to understand and to be if the male child is schooled to understand the anatomy of the female, his female sister, if he is made to understand it, there shouldn't the boy child shouldn't get to the extent of being a beast towards the girl. Why?
Madam, sorry to cut you short. You know, if you are looking at this, ordinarily in every house, girl child are close to their fathers at a point.
Truth, yes.
And they shower them so much love. Before every man brings in a woman to this house as a wife, they started from somewhere and they showed love. Why is it that when it comes to anything that has to do with women, the same men shy away from it? Where is the missing link?
Because nobody has taken the time. We mothers, we have not taken the time. Now the man treats the girl as if, you know, this is how you ought to be treated. Who treats the boy the way he ought to be treated? Who brings up, who nurtures the child, the boy child, to make him know that you have emotions which you are free to air. You are free to cry if you want to cry. You are free to talk if you want to talk. You are free. The male child is not given that opportunity to be free. He is made to be a man. And to be a man is a hard thing, like they always say. Don't cry. Don't shout. See the way you're talking like a woman. See the way you're shouting like a woman.
Thank you, madam. Maybe we are going to change.
Has a
Thank
lot.
you, madam. Let me release you from Abuja Center here. Maybe we are going to change the tide. Maybe the women will be coming to pay for the dowry now. Maybe that
Yes, maybe. In fact, there was this boy that wanted to come and pay the dowry for one of my sons.
Thank you. Over to you.
That's crack right there, and great show so far, and I know you've been having fun. When we come back from this break, we get on to our last story. The story about universities and drug testing. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, and yes, on to our last story this morning. It is, like I said, it's a very, very interesting story. When I read it initially, it seemed controversial. Now, the thought of having students in tertiary institutions tested for drug in their system, it's fascinating. All right, so on to that story. That's our fourth story. That's what we're going to be taking right now. And yeah, I'll let our guests in the studio just speak to this. Now, Marwa, that is the director, the chief executive of the NDLA. He is proposing that all tertiary institutions in Nigeria get to make drug integrity tests an institutional policy for both new and returning students as part of the efforts to tackle the menace of drug abuse amongst Nigerian youths. He said part of the measures to reduce drug use in the university is the proposed introduction of the drug integrity test for both new and returning students. Now, the drug integrity test is anticipated to metamorphose into an anti-drug policy for all higher institutions of learning in Nigeria. It's expected that the University of Abuja, being the University of National Unity, will be the first public university in Nigeria to adopt the drug integrity test for fresh and returning students in the institution. Now, the drug integrity test is not a punitive measure, rather it's an early detection tool to ascertain an individual's drug use status for appropriate intervention, timely treatment, and care. And this will also entail that the university will develop a drug policy and make sure that such policies available to each student. Equally important is the need to create an NDLEA outpost on campus where we will deploy our men to assist the authorities, deter drug dealers and users within the university. Now, this is such an interesting conversation because we know that there's been increase of drug use amongst young people, and as it is, I remember talking to someone and he said the drugs are just sedating these ones, so they carry on with life and they are without any bother. And it's good that we have women in the studio today. I'll first of all go to Madam Ilaye Chapjombo. On this subject, what's your take on this story?
Well, as good as that may sound, I would say it is not timely. It is not. The child is coming from somewhere. He must have attended a kindergarten, nursery, primary, maybe stayed 1 year at home before getting into the university. So the drug integrity tests, a lot of I'm sorry to say that a lot of our children, both the ones who are about to enter, the new entrants and the old one, they will fail it. They will fail it. Why? Because most of them, some of them, may have gotten involved in it much younger. Maybe when they were in primary school or even secondary school. Let's say a child who started engaging in drug activities in secondary school. When the child enters university, it's either he stops or he continues. But whether you like it or not, whatever he may have taken, depending on how long he has taken it, will still be in his system. So if that test is done at that time, it is already too late. If you ask me, I would say maybe they should start with our primary schools. Maybe they should start with our secondary schools, because these are the things, these drugs are the things you can get off the counter now. As a child growing up, I used to know of APC, Bicodin, which was, I can't remember what we were using it for, maybe for cough or for, I don't know, maybe for headache or something. And before you know what is happening, it has become something that children take to get high. We used to have cough syrup that we were giving to children. Even as an adult that time, I wouldn't take cough syrup because it is believed that it is mild. So it is given to children. Suddenly, it became something that young children engage in. A lot of things like that, a lot of them like that. So this thing boils down back to our homes. It boils down back to the home. It boils down back to the home front. Whatsoever a child may be, before that child gets to the university, even as at 7 years, the child is already formed. The child is already formed. So let's say, God forbid, the child start taking hard drugs at 10, 11, 12, when he's still in primary school. What do you think you will get when you do that test when he's in the university? He will fail that test. So I would advocate that they should take it down. They should take it down to the primary schools, the secondary schools. Children are copycats. Children, they have a lot of energy to dissipate. Children are adventurous by nature, especially the male child. The male child, he wants to try out anything and everything. So by the time the child is about to get into the university, you'll be shocked that there is nothing he may not have tried out. even before getting to the university. So this thing should start from our homes. We should go back to the basics. We should go back to the basics, and it starts from the home. So yes, as good as that may be, but for me it is late. It is too late. We should take it down. We should let it go down to the primary and the secondary schools. That's my take, Mia.
So over to you, Shola. Shola, on this subject.
Well, the whole idea is fighting the menace and the implication of drug in their system. Nigerian government have been trying their best, but we still have to change our strategy. The idea of going to schools, either secondary school or primary school, to run tests. I'm going to ask Madam Betty Beauty in the studio, do you think this can solve the whole problem?
Mr. Shola, yes, I think it would give us up to 70% result, good positive results, because by the time these children or these students remembers that as we are going on holiday, before we come back to school, we have to run a test to find out if we have gone on hard drugs or any of that or any of these things. They'll be conscious of that, and before you know, they will start dropping on that habit. They will start dropping, and before you know it, gradually we are making positive results. So I think that running a test on university students before they resume, for freshers and the returning students, I think is a very, very good idea. It will help us to go a long way.
And do you think this our government showing their attitude towards policy and some assaulting policy, do you think they can sustain this?
Well, I think as a government that wants the good for her people, I would advise that the government should try as much as they can to sustain it. Even if it may not be as easy as it may sound, but they should try and sustain it, because it will really help us. Because these days, the students of these days, they go on lots of hard drugs. Even the females, I know what they take, a lot of hard drugs, codeine, all manner of things. For now, some schools are on holiday before they will resume. In fact, in their rooms, in their hostels, they take all manner of drugs just to get high. They feel when they are high, they are the babes in town, or they are the babes in campus. So I think that test of a thing would really help us.
You feel that in this government, in this NDLA approach, do you think we need state government or local government to get involved to carry out these tests across all the sectors, as far as when we have a Nigerian youth?
Okay, well, I am carrying it out in all the sectors may be quite heavy, but I think on the higher institution, I think the state government, the federal government should be solely involved in it. Because if I say from a primary school to secondary school, it may be quite heavy, because the local governments may not have the fund to really execute it. So I think the higher institutions, the state universities and the federal universities, polytechnics and all, I think they should really, the federal government and the state government should really get involved in it. Because it will help us. It will go a long way to help us.
Okay, thank you, Madam Beauty. Over to you, Niabere.
Okay, so yes, but still on this, let's I'll ask just one more question before I put a cap on this particular subject. Is it that are we going to blame, who do we blame first of all for this, for the increase in drug use? Because we know that it's happening there. Normally, traditionally rather, they would say when the child is bad, of course, you ask the mother. When the child is good, you appreciate the father. That's what happens in this part. So it's now beginning to look like these ones who make it into universities, because at the point of universities, they're already out of the house. So who is responsible for this increase in drug use? If you have any idea, I'll come to Madam Beauty in the studio, and then I'll also come over to you, Madam Eli Jumbo, on the same question. Beauty first.
Okay, I think the peer group is really playing a heavy role there. Peer group, okay. Yeah. Because by the time a child is 17, 18, you're out of the house, you're in the university. Your parents get to see you maybe on your visiting days, or sometimes for those who are in the government universities, the state-owned universities and all that. Maybe you go home once in 3 months. Your parents may not be able to see you. It may just be phone communications and all that. Now, in a school there, you have your friends you mingle with, those you sit out with, those you study with and all of that. And the rate of cultism in higher institution is really high. And what these cult boys do or cult girls do, they go on drugs because they feel when they take those drugs, they are high. They will have the morale, let me use the slangs, morale, to do whatever they on a normal day they will not do. They will take actions on a normal day they will not take. So they go on these drugs. I think the peer group and these cult boys and girls are friends to our siblings, are friends to our children, they are friends to our cousins and friends. So I believe the peer group is also playing a huge role on this increment on drug take. They are the ones influencing their friends.
Okay. So she said the peer group now, but somehow you still brought it back to the people, because the children, the people who make the peer group still come from homes. So I'll go over to Madam Eli Jumbo. What's your take on my question? Who do you think is responsible for this increase in drug use by the young people?
Permit me to use the scripture. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. What do our children see us do at home, as mothers, as fathers? What do they see us do at home? Now, I like bringing myself as an example, because I can't use somebody else. I as a person had to stop taking cold water in my home. Why? Because when my children were growing up, I know what cold things do to children, and I wasn't prepared to start taking children to the hospital for pneumonia and all of that. Children go up to the extent of chewing ice block. So I stopped taking cold water, and invariably telling my children that cold water in the house, cold water is not allowed. So as I speak now, in my home, if you come to visit me, we don't have cold water to give you, because we don't put water in the fridge. It all started from us as parents. That is where it started from. Some of us parents, we live in denial. We live in denial. We should be able to know our children and to know their tendencies. I am saying this because I have all boys, and you know the kind of energy boys exude when it comes to things like this. So it started from home. The child is already formed. The child already has started taking these things even before he entered the university, before he got admission into the university. Just like my sister said, that the peer group. Now, what do you tell your children at home about peer group? When you communicate, you say evil communication corrupts good manners. And you tell your children, do you want to live a good life? if you want to live a good life, there are some set of people you don't. If every mother begins to tell their children this, I believe it will curb the menace we see happening. We parents, we have gone to sleep. Parents, mothers, we have gone to sleep, and that is why our own children, it is the generation of, it is my generation that is breeding the kind of children we see today, that is breeding the kind of boys we see today. We, my generation of mothers, we have failed. It is for us to go back to the basics. It's for us to go back, even if it happened, you can't see a man that is in his 50s getting involved in drug. It is very, I'm not saying it is not possible, but it is very, very rare. It is not common. Why? Because of the way we were brought up. I am in my 50s. So parents, mothers, we have relegated our duties to our house helps. We have relegated our duties to nannies. We relegated our duties to people around us. And that is why I said I stopped having house helps about 20 or thereabout years ago. I stopped having house helps. We pin here together. We must do everything together. So when that child is gainfully engaged, I don't think that child will have enough time to want to get involved in nefarious activities. My first son, who just graduated, he's waiting for his youth service. Nearby, he was working in the morning and going to school in the morning. He just graduated from UST. So that kind of a boy, what time? I looked for a job for him. You must work and go to school. He was working in the morning and he goes to school in the morning. So what time does he have to go and start taking drugs or to go and start misbehaving? We should gainfully engage our children because they have too much energy to dissipate. The energy is too much. And when we don't gainfully engage them, they will definitely engage themselves. And when they engage themselves, it will not be good for them, neither will it be good for us as parents. So it falls back to us parents. We are inexcusable in this evil that is happening with our children. We should not say, oh, government. It is we. It is what we give out to the society. That is what they have. And what have we been giving out to the society as mothers and fathers? We have been giving out cultists. We have been giving out drug addicts. We have been giving out children who don't have moral values.
Okay.
It starts from the home, my brother. It starts from the home. We have failed. We should go back to the basics.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. This is where we get to put a cap on this particular show. It's been quite intense. Thank you, and again, a happy International Women's Day to all the women in the house. We're already out of time, so we cannot carry on anymore. I want to say thank you, Madam Beauty.
This is wishing every woman out there, every girl child out there, a happy International Women's Day to you all. And do not forget today this year's theme, which is Break the Bias.
All right, thank you so much for that, Beauty, Mara, and also Madam Elijah Jumbo, thank you so much for coming through for us. And this is where we get to dock. I am Nia Barry Fakai, and you can follow us on all our social media handles. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. Instagram is Atlantic TV Network. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.